seats are taken. Even Manoj is here. And we can start. There's no getting out anymore, nor getting in. Glad that all of you came here to learn a bit more about chatbots and how they can be used to leverage business outcomes. I'm Aaron. I'm heading CRM and growth marketing at Project A. And I'm joined here by Malte from our portfolio company, Facebook.
So I'm Malte. I'm Aaron's sidekick today. I work on product partnerships at Facebook here in Berlin. Most people don't know that Facebook has an office in Berlin. We do, actually, a small one. And I work on products like Facebook Messenger, everything we do with augmented reality, and a lot of other fun developer tools.
Great. So first of all, let's start with one question, and let's see if the internet is good enough. Yeah, the Wi-Fi isn't the best. Yeah, sure. So the question is whether online marketing still works. I will give you a short answer, yes. Because like what we in our team do, what you in the portfolio companies in online marketing do, and also across the globe, I think that we're like usually getting really good ROIs. We're managing to attract new customers to our businesses. So yes, things are working out, but I think it does make sense to look a bit more into the numbers. And I would really love to show you some pictures that accompany that. Maybe this works. It just doesn't go in presentation mode. Yeah, we'll do it like this, so everyone put on their glasses, a bit smaller. So, might work. If we works on yours, just try it. You can talk while I do this. This is all a strategy, so you ask fewer questions.
Yeah, that's how we kill time.
Yeah.
Come on. That's weird. It shows it's working here. That's usually not an issue. Okay. Es liegt nicht am Hotspot.
Put it back in here. Ja. Ja. Würde wahrscheinlich helfen. Wie heißt du?
Das ist der OnePlus 5T.
Ja.
Das Passwort ist LOL1234.
Let's see.
Ja?
Any questions so far?
So, this looks good. So one round of applause for Buzz for providing me work without you. So back to what I was saying, whether online marketing still works, yes. However, let's look at some things in detail. For example, banner ads. Like the typical click-through rate of a banner ad is 0.2%. we still create campaigns that that are successful and that work. But however, I mean, basically, we can say that virtually nobody reacts to a standard banner ad anymore. And when we look at emails, which is also what I do a lot of in my job about marketing emails, we have on average maybe 20% open rate, which is nice. But also that means that 80% of all the people whom we target with emails never read and never open what we're sending them. So I think it's just like good to be aware of that, and also to be aware of what else is happening in our world, where are people actually spending their time. And then what we see is, like in the last years, a really big rise of messaging. And yeah, be it Facebook Messenger, WhatsApp, Instagram, people, every one of us, really uses messaging apps a lot. Actually, 80% of adults message every day. When you look at teenagers, that's even higher, that's 91%. And so this is where people are spending their time. And I think that it only makes sense from a business perspective to think about that and to be where your customers are, and to use the kind of style that they use for communication. And I think this is like a big shift that we have seen and that we are seeing in the recent years, just like the shift from desktop to mobile. I think we see a shift for conversations going from email or from phone calls and so on to messaging. And so people will, on the one hand, expect to have a communication also with businesses there, which is also important for customer service and for transactional messages and so on. But you can also leverage this for marketing purposes, because people are used to doing that. And so, of course, there's one-on-one communication, which businesses can also do. But today we will focus a lot on chatbots. And that also has the additional advantage that, like, maybe you could say, yeah, but we don't have the resources to really around the clock speak with thousands of people and so on. Yes, but like when you have a chatbot, then that means that you can implement things that do not need attention 24/7 of people responding to messages. And so I will show you now 3 examples from our portfolio. And these examples that I've chosen are things that are really easy to set up. So of course there are like examples of like super complex messaging and bot features that we always see from KLM, for example. And yes, that's amazing, but you would also say, I don't have 20 people in tech who can set that up and 2,000 people who are going to respond to everything. So today I will show you examples that, like, if you say, okay, I have a marketing team of 1 or 2 people, you can do that. And so there are these easy solutions that I will show you now. So one example is from our portfolio company, Stryker. Who of you knows Stryker? Wow. For a B2B business, that's quite good. So Stryker is the Commerce OS shop system. So we're talking about B2B here. And one thing we've just set up at Stryker is that for some parts of their website that are very deep in the process, so product details, pricing, and so on, that then a chatbot pops up that does, on the one hand, a pre-qualification of people, so that it collects their information about their company and also their contact information, and then suggests an appointment with sales, talk with sales. So this pops up like this then, and so then you have a couple of questions before you get suggested to make an appointment with sales. The reason why this is just going to the calendar and not to a live chat is that this way we can really make sure that someone can select a date there, and yes, then they will talk to someone. So even if the team is busy. How does that perform? yeah, there is a number missing. And it's not because I forgot to put it in there, but the thing is like this setup that I've shown you is set up with HubSpot, and HubSpot is offering this chatbot functionality out of the box, but what they're not offering yet is chatbot analytics. So yes, you can set it up, but you cannot measure it. That's amazing when you want to work data-driven. Unfortunately, all I can tell you is that the sales team is saying that, yes, we're pretty busy and we have a lot of appointments. That's already nice, and like we will keep having this and also work more on it. But I really hope that HubSpot is going to offer analytics soon for that, because I do want to know also what the conversion rate actually is in that chatbot in order to A/B test things and so on. So yeah, this is the result so far. Another example from B2C business, and also with measurable numbers, is a chatbot that we've set up for Lampenwelt. So this is a Facebook ad that people get shown, and it actually sends you to Messenger. So this says that you should check which design type you are, and then when you click in the ad or send message, you get this Messenger conversation where Lumin, the Lampenwelt bot, is reading you and is asking you a couple of questions where you can choose which style suits you best, and then at the end you will be directed to a landing page depending on the design type that has come out that you are. The people who get into this bot have a 70% click-through rate, so 70% of all people who click on send message, start the conversation with Messenger, also go to the landing page. So that's already pretty high. And what's even more interesting is what we then see on the landing page, because this landing page, of course, shows then different lights that match your style, but it's also for lead generation. So it has this part here that you can sign up in order to win a lamp. And so we send people to that competition from the bot landing page, but we also send people to that competition page directly from Facebook. So we just post on the Facebook page, hey, sign up here to win a lamp, in order to generate leads. And the interesting thing is that from the Facebook page, so people that come specifically just in order to take part in that competition, we only have a 12% conversion rate who actually sign up. And for this bot traffic, people who came through the Messenger bot, we have 42% conversion rate. So that's massively higher, even though they came with another intention. And that for me is really fascinating. And I believe that this shows that when you get people into this conversational style, because like already in the Messenger bot, they were answering questions, interacting with Lampenwelt, that then they are much more likely to also continue giving information, answering questions, which is the case when you sign up here for that competition and become a lead for Lampenwelt. We have one venture in our portfolio, Opinory, who are making use of this idea that it actually helps to get people into a conversation. I don't know if you know Opinory, I'll show you what they do, and this will completely eat Buzz internet for this month. So when you're on online magazine articles, then you get asked a question that is connected to this topic, and then you're supposed to pull this lever in order to say what your opinion there is. So most of you probably know that, and Opinory is now taking this logic and also offering it for brands in order to show it on magazines, newspaper sites, but also on their own pages. So this, the video here, this looks something like this. So this is an example from Uncle Ben's. So people here are first asked what kind of food they like to cook, Then they see the results, and then they get taken to a recipe page, which is then, of course, also specifically for this area that people have chosen. And here we see a 14% interaction rate on external pages. So like you're on, I don't know, womenshealth.com, and in an article you see this and people interact with that 14%. Compare that to the 0.2% that we talked about earlier, that is the average for a banner ad. So this really also shows how much more likely people are to interact with like your content if you are starting a conversation with them. So this is really interesting. This is something that Opinory offers to have like on your own site, but also then on to book as an ad on other pages. So these are three things from the Project A portfolio. There's obviously also a lot more happening in the world around chatbots, and so Malte also has some examples for us.
So I would have really liked to show you really wanted to show German cases, and unfortunately we didn't have any German-speaking official Facebook-endorsed case studies yet. So, but I have a few good numbers, and I didn't want to run them by Menlo Park, because it usually takes weeks until ready, and I wanted to do this. So I asked friends, and this is why those are not Facebook branded, but by other people, which is great, because then we can also showcase actually the what we at Facebook call the bot shops, so basically the agencies that build the messenger experiences for those brands. And really, there's quite a few use cases that we see that are important for on the Messenger platform that work really well. Obviously, there's customer care, which is well established. It works. People don't care where you as a business want to talk to them. They come to you through whichever channel they choose. And Messenger has definitely been established at this point. And the other big thing that we work on internally is to facilitate lead gen, to really make sure that we can help you basically bring almost any part of the funnel onto the Messenger platform with obvious advantages. Just going back to the nice HubSpot example, which was pretty, and it was sitting on their website. But what happens if you're halfway through that? Halfway through the experience and leave the site for whatever reason, like your browser crashes, your boss comes around the corner, you actually have to pretend you're working, those things, or your subway goes underground and you lose connection, then everything is lost. Neither the business has contacts anymore, nor you do. You have to start from scratch, and the business lost the lead completely. On Messenger, you'll never have that, because as a brand, you still have the lead, you still have the conversation open. And we have what's called the 24+1 rule. So if you as a business get contacted by, so it's almost 420. So if I contact L'Oreal, as I obviously do all the time on Messenger, then they have 24 hours to just ping me again, to remind me if I wanted, what did I want? Do I want to finish this conversation, and so on. And this is something that you can't do with anything else. This is something that's pretty hard to do in any other environment, and this is why Messenger is a really great platform for this. Here, this example was something that I'm usually not too excited about, because it's campaign based. It's just like a kind of like a today and tomorrow kind of thing. We usually like to work on messenger experiences that have long life, that will exist for a longer time. People can come back, talk to them, because at the end of the day, it's supposed to be a service that users get used to. They know if I want X from brand Y, then this is where I go. But this is a good example just to show you how they basically reach their goal within 24 hours. They just want to get samples of their makeup to interested parties, and as you see, that basically 10,500 completed interactions on the first day. And this is basically what they want to reach. 130,000 interactions on the first day, as in back and forth with the users, and 40,000 manually typed messages. So as you know, there's a lot of bots, or you might not know, but some of you might. There's a lot of bots where you get guided through, kind of like an app where there's quick replies, but there's buttons, so you really you can't get lost. You really just keeps you within the flow. You can't get into a dead end where you're like, okay, where do I go from here? And but a lot of bots also, mainly the ones who have pretty good AI, that have natural language processing, understand or aim to understand what the person is asking when they try with like free text. This is also what they did here, and quite successfully. So this is obviously kind of like an example where you think, yeah, this works in digital life. So I have two examples that are maybe not exactly what you would think would fit there. Just a little bit more. The next one, even less. This is by so this was built by Spectrum, based in Berlin. They work with a lot of international brands on messaging, and this is built. And the next one also by ChatChamp. They're based in Munich. They're more e-com focused, and they worked here with Unique from Berlin on a similar kind of campaign, or more to say something interesting here, which is abandoned cart reminders. Anybody who works in e-com or has worked in e-com knows that you'll have tons of people who come to your site, put stuff in their shopping cart, and never come back. They're not logged in, so you don't know who they are. You can't get them back. You can't send them a coupon, discount, some incentive to get them to finish the transaction. And actually, there's ways to do that with Messenger. You can actually retarget those people, remind them there's something in the shopping cart, and tell them, hey, if you order now, we give you 20% off, or you get an extra printed pillow on top. This is like basically whatever works for the business, you can do that. And here are some really interesting numbers. They have 89% finished conversations. So basically, they the transaction happened. CTR 42%, and the ROI is 334%, meaning the ads they invested actually were worth the money. And then my final example here, and this is really not what you would think, like hearing aids on Messenger, not necessarily the first thing that comes to mind. And Audi Bene, also from Berlin, has run this in 10 different markets. In the US, they are called here.com. Also, really, really successfully, especially this number is interesting, the 50% less cost per lead. Everybody wants to save money. This is where you can save money. And also quite an increase in leads. What's interesting here is really the 10 different markets. This was also done in Germany. People always say, oh, Germany, I don't care about Messenger. I really want to work on WhatsApp. You'll have to wait for that. Or you do it illegally and you get banned. B, what's really important is that the people who are inclined to interact with the business or order something, reserve something, want to inform themselves via a messaging service, aren't necessarily all the people that are on WhatsApp. It's this demographic that is active on Messenger, that's active on all kinds of digital platforms. So, yes, my mother, she's only on WhatsApp. She doesn't have a Facebook account, but she will never ever want to talk to a business on WhatsApp, right? So you'll reach, even via Messenger, you'll reach your core audience in the what we at Facebook call the green countries. So not the blue countries as in Messenger, where Messenger is the dominating Messenger platform, but the green app. So WhatsApp is the dominant platform. Yeah, those are my three cases.
Yeah, thank you very much.
We have no question. Unfortunately, we have no time for question this time. But feel free to ask outside. You're probably outside waiting.
Yeah. So just one more thing. The motto of this conference is turn ideas into action. And so if you feel like you want to turn things that we showed you into action, then I'm very happy if you approach me, and I can do introductions to HubSpot, for example. They also, if you are part of Project A, then they offer you up to 90% discount through HubSpot for Startups. Opinory, of course, as part of our portfolio anyway. Happy to connect you. And the same with Spectrum and ChatChamp, the two providers that we showed you, and also the Lampenwelt case is from ChatChamp. So both Malte and I can always connect you with those guys. So yeah, no time for questions, but we'll stick around so you can also ask us later. Thank you.